Right on. Hey guys, what's up? My name's Chris Hawkes, and this is your best life defined. So, back before my wife and I ever got busy with the actual planning to hit the road and do what we do, I remember we used to jump in the car and we'd be like headed to someplace like Colorado Springs, 50 miles away, or Pueblo, 30 miles away from our hometown. And we get in there and we used to joke about how cool it would be just to keep driving. Just not have to be responsible for anything, just to keep driving. Now, the reality was so much different. I mean, we had 3 kids or 2 kids. I mean, it happened a lot of the times when we were traveling and we were growing up and as our family was growing. But it was always, maybe that's the reason that we're living the life we live now. But the difference between back then was now we are actually living free. I mean, imagine waking up in your life and you have absolutely nothing that you're truly responsible for. That's where we're at. I mean, I do this podcast because it energizes me, because it keeps me focused and centered on the same things I'm sharing with you. In other words, when I have this conversation with you, it reminds me to hold to my own personal values. It reminds me that if I allow things to get in my head or things to distract me from my mission, from who I am and what I love, that I can create a trap, and instead of making things better for myself and living my best life, I make things worse. So I do it every day. But I don't have to do this. And, I mentioned in a previous podcast about, imagine every weekend being like the 4th of July. Well, to be honest with you, if I wanted to live that life, I could do that. We could do that. That's the freedom that we've created. See, there's nothing like living free. I mean, when you talk about living free, think about it. Have you ever been debt free? Talk about liberating. Imagine, when you don't owe anyone. Now, granted, we have bills. We have cell phones, and I have to pay for my lot rent where I stay, and we have insurance on our vehicles. But as far as actually having a signed note that says you will pay for this or I will take it away from you, doesn't exist. That's liberating. Imagine waking up and having your entire day free. No, let's take it one step further. Imagine waking up and having your entire week free to do whatever you want to do. That's what's at stake here. That's what this whole idea about living your best life is about. It's about you waking up one day and saying, wow, what do you want to do? Anything we want to do. That's really what it is. Anything we want to do. That's what we do, right? It doesn't just happen. And I think that's the tragedy. I think, and this is also a really complicated concept I'm finding out, that people have trouble believing that you can actually build your life around the things you love. But you can, but it starts with having the resources to do that. It starts with having time. It starts with having money, because that's what makes the world go round. And if you're short on time and short on money, you're short on choices. See, because I don't owe anybody, I don't owe anything, when an opportunity comes to my way, when something that I value in my life and takes my life to the next level appears, I have the resources to do it. If there was an opportunity for me in South Texas, maybe it's a better place to stay. Maybe there's some things there I haven't done yet, or maybe in the Florida Keys. Unlike most people, I can just say, okay, hey, what do you think, baby? She's like, well, I think it's a good idea, and we go. That's what I'm talking about when I say living free. That's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. And I'm not sure how to get this message across. But if you don't have time, you're not living free. And if you don't have money, if every penny you earn goes to someone else, or most of it goes to someone else, you're not free. Because freedom is waking up in the morning and defining your path. And what's nice is you are free to start down that path, even no matter where you're at. And I think this is where it gets real confusing. So I'm going to take a little time here. When I talk to people about living your best life, they're like, well, I am living my best life. And they believe that, and it's true. It depends on what you make that comparison to. If you make the comparison of your life to the people around you, you might even be living a better life than the people around you. But the only people that matter in this decision, the only comparisons you should be making are to yourself, to the things you would like to do. When you wake up in the morning and you jump in that car and you go do that thing you do to earn your money, and then you take that money and you give it away to pay for all those things you own. Are all those things that you own, are all those things you have in your life giving you the value that inspires you, giving you energy for you to want to get up the next day and struggle through your work so you can earn that money to do it again? Are you energized? Do you go, yeah? Do you look at your life and review your life and you go, oh man, I don't think I could do it any better than this? If that's not how it feels, you're not living free. See, we don't escape the struggle. Living your best life isn't a guarantee that you're going to wake up every day to unicorns and lollipops. But what it will do is it'll guarantee that the struggles you face are taking you towards things you love, things that energize your life, and that's the ticket. And anything that pushes in on that, anything that pushes in on your freedom to go hang out at the park and cook hot dogs and fish and do what you do, that's a restraint on your freedom. And the idea is to eliminate as much of that as you can. Now, I get it. We cherish credit. I get that. That's a whole nother issue. But we cherish the idea of having credit. People go, well, what's your credit score? I mean, it's like this big thing people do, right? It's like, what's your credit score? All right. And granted, you probably have to buy a house on credit, especially now. Houses are $300,000. Who would pay $300,000 for a place to sleep, eat, and recover from their adventures? I'm not going to pay that. I mean, granted, I am eventually going to live in a stick-built house, but I'm not going to give up the freedom that owning something like that will take away from me. $360,000. Can you imagine what you could do, the life you could live for that? Well, sure, it's a great investment, and you get to walk out on your porch every day, look back as you jump in your car and head off to work to bust your ass. You get to look back and go, whoa, I own that. No, you don't. I mean, if there was anything we've learned from COVID-19, it's that, you know what? 15 years into a 30-year mortgage, and all of a sudden you lose your job because of some virus, and now everything you've put that 15 years into is going to go away. That's how it's happening. We don't want to believe it. I mean, if we haven't lost our income, it's hard for us to fathom that. But the truth is, there are people in this country right now who made that choice and are losing big because of it. And $2,400, $5,000, the government signing some sort of agreement with lenders to forego foreclosure and eviction. What is that going to do? So you spent 15 years not being free. Not being free to go fishing when you want because you have to mow the lawn. Not being free to play golf 5 days a week because the mortgage is so high you can't afford to. And now it's all wiped out. Maybe it's time to rethink that. See, I don't know how else to say it. I think the reality is this. It comes down to a simple fact. You can work to do what you love to do, or you can work to do what you have to do. And if you're doing what you have to do, then you better ask yourself questions like, why? I am sure there's someone out there right now who loves the whole Better Homes and Gardens thing. I'm sure there's someone out there right now who loves everything about their life. And you know what? That person is not listening to this podcast because they are in their zone. They are in their dream. They are doing what they love. I don't think Oprah Winfrey or Will Smith needs my advice. I don't think Joe Rogan needs my advice. Just look at these dudes. Dana White. You name it. There's a long list of people who have it going on who figured out what I'm trying to share with you. And that is, you are at your best when you are free to do what you love to do. I mean, that's just a fact. That's just the way it is. Cut it up, divide it however you want. And it comes down to that simple question. Are you living your best life? Are you waking up every day excited about the things you get to do because of the things you have to do? Let me say that again. Are you waking up every day excited about the things you get to do because of the things you have to do? I'm going to tell you, I own the big house, and it isn't that much fun, really. I mean, not compared to the life I live now. I've got $600 worth of kayak strapped to the top of my car. That's some shit right there. That is living free. I could jump in my truck and go kayaking right now if I chose to do so. What about you? What about you? Here's one for you. Here's one. Now, let me just get you in the mood for this one. So it's third week into the month, and you're looking at that stack of bills that are piling up, because I remember when we was living that life, when we were living in debt, I would like cringe, and I just hated it, because there were times when it was just so close. I mean, we had spent just about every penny that we had made, and sometimes we were behind the eight ball. I remember when I had my construction company and things were slowing down, there was some stress there. I mean, because I am not about cheating people, I'm not about filing bankruptcy, so we had to scramble there at the last, and there's bills stacking up, and I remember that knot in my stomach. How's it feel to be strapped to all that stuff? Now, if you've made the right choices, if you've made choices based on living your best life, it should feel pretty damn good. I mean, think about it. If you're going to have a big-ass bill sitting there on the counter every day, you got to spend all your money on something, why wouldn't you want to spend it on something you truly love to do? I mean, if your thing is hiking or whatever your thing is, I mean, if you love going on cruises, at least if the bill is about the 6 cruises you took this last year because you just can't get enough of it, at least you got your money's worth, right? At least it's something worth working for. But a stack of dusty boxes with a bunch of crap in it that you haven't seen in 10 years, that you put on the credit card because the checks were overdrawn or you're just running out of cash, you're not making enough. Bunch of beat down old furniture the dogs and cats have tore up and kids have been bounced on, but you still paying on it because you got 1 year same as cash. And you go to work every day because of it, and there's no opportunity for anything else? I don't know. So let me give you a little advice here. This is how you get out of it. Pick one thing that will make your life better immediately. Pick one thing that will make your life better immediately. Maybe it's taking the time to sit down with your special person, with your person, and actually have a conversation. Say, listen, I've been thinking, I think we can do better at this. I think we can do better at this thing we're doing. And sit down with them, have a conversation. What can we do to make it better? Might just be spending time together. Might be taking a walk every night after work and just talking about the plan, talking about the things that we really don't like about our life and the things we're willing to do to change it. That's where it starts. And then maybe over time you could pick something that's so amazing that you look at each other and go, no way, we can't do that. No way, that's never going to happen. Something that's so amazing that while it's scary and you don't believe you can do it, the energy that comes from it is so great, it empowers you to such a degree that you just can't let it go. Maybe it's about talking about that thing you picked every morning at breakfast. Say, baby, I was thinking about this. What do you think? And she's like, oh, man. Or he was like, oh, yeah, I think that'd be work. I was thinking, too, we could do this. And you become partners in your goal. You become partners and support each other in the idea. And you let these ideas evolve. See, you think I'm living my dream. This idea about this podcast, this evolved. This is about a conversation with people who care about me, about advice from people I respect who said, hey, listen, your forte isn't writing. You're a good writer, but your forte isn't writing. It is talking. It's telling stories. And I get this idea in my head, start talking. I ask my son about it, ask my wife about it, ask my kids about it, ask my friends about it. And they're like, yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. You might want to try that. And look where I'm at now. If you want to live free, make a plan. Share your ideas, make it real. Let that idea grow and live in your mind until the point you just cannot resist it, but you have to take action on it. You can't resist, you have to do something about it. You are no longer satisfied with the life you're living compared to what you can do, compared to your dream, and all of a sudden that's when it happens. That's when it becomes real. And you're free. You'll find a way to free up the time. You'll find a way to make more money. There are things in my life right now I want to do, and when COVID thins down, I'm going to go get me a job, not because I have to, but because it gives me freedom. It gives me the freedom to experience things I've never experienced before. Plus, it gives me the financial freedom to make choices that I value in my life. And the more I talk about it, the more scared and excited and nervous I get. And guess what? It's going to happen because it's part of my dream. It's part of my goal to live free, to have the money I need to do the things I love to do, to have the time I need to do the things I love to do. See, you can live your life around the things you love. But you just have to find a way to do it. You have to make a plan. You have to ask yourself, will this make my life better? And if it does, then go after it. Talk about it. Tell a story about it. Put it out there so you're on Front Street when you're thinking about backing away, and you're accountable to the people you love, because they say, oh, well, I thought you was gonna. I thought you was gonna. You said you was gonna. And then you didn't? What? That's what it's about. Stepping out there. Do it. Live free. I mean, I don't know. I might be off track, but it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good to have the time to sit down and do something like this for you. And let's just face it, this story isn't for everyone. I keep trying. I've done a lot of reading and listened to a lot of books, and like, your target audience. What's your target audience? And I really don't know who that is, because this applies to anyone. It can apply to you at 18 years old. If you're sitting there and you're just like trying to decide what to do, well, base it on being free. Base it on making choices that allow you to make more choices. Maybe you're 70 years old and you've been afraid of things all your life, and now you're sitting back and you're going, I wish I had. Well, it's not too late. All you have to do is define it and take up what you have to do to be free to do it, and do it. It's really that simple, guys. I'm not stopping. I'm not giving up on you. I really appreciate you showing up every day. I really appreciate the fact that people are listening to what I have to say, and I'm starting to get feedback on it, and it's positive feedback. I remember a while back, a guy says, what are you saying? What I'm saying is, you're going to work. You're going to work hard your entire life. The only question you need to answer is, what are you working for? Are you working for a bunch of ideas you've been given by your parents and those around you? Or are you working for ideas you've come up on your own? Ideas that are connected to who you are and what you love. That is the only difference. That is the only difference. It's easy to work for shit you love. I do it. I do it every day. Even when I don't want to do it, I sit down here and I do it every day. So, feels good. Feels good. Starting to make a difference, starting to feel like I belong here. I hope you enjoy what I have to say. I hope you'll pick the pieces apart. Not every part of this message is for you. Not every podcast I do is for you. But the one thing that is for you is that no matter where you are right now, you can add something to your life, or you can take something away from your life that will make it better. And all you have to do is start taking a look at who you are and asking yourself questions about what kind of life you want to live. So, anyway, guys, until next time, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.